Hi, welcome back. In this lesson number 15, we'll talk about events and how we can capture events in Google Analytics. If somebody happens to visit my site, how are you going to track those micro actions and macro conversions on your website? See, it is not about creating goals in analytics. Everybody does that. But what is more important is those micro actions that eventually take people, in their journey to purchase. So if somebody has to convert on my site, there would be certain micro actions they would do on my site, and it is very important for a marketer to capture those micro actions. And those micro actions can be captured in analytics by using events. And we would learn about how to send these events into Google Analytics. And remember, when you send an event into Analytics captures these events, and you got to be very, very careful. You got to have a naming convention, a particular naming convention when you set up events. When you send events, remember, there are three things that you have to particularly remember. The first one is the event category, second one is the event action, third one is the event label. And in case you wanted to add more, you can send more information by using event label. So we would try and use Google Tag Manager here, and we'll try and send some events into Google Analytics based on the actions that people do. So join me as I take you through the practical demonstration.
One of the most important reports in this part of behavior reports is events. Now, if you have to learn about events, you have to understand that events are something that would track the user's interaction with the elements on my webpage. Now, when you deploy the Google Analytics tracking code on my site, whenever somebody happens to visit my site, what will happen is tracking code will load. Now, that tracking code essentially will only send a page view hit or a screen view hit, right? But if you want to track the other interactions that people have with the elements of my site, for example, if somebody would come to my site called brighterias.com, and for example, they come to my site and they scroll down, I want to track how much they scroll, or I want to track how many people scroll down to 50% of my site, and I want to track how many of those users who visited my site happen to scroll the entire 100%. Or I have a video on my site, I want to know how many people played this video, I want to know how many people played this video till the half of that video, and I want to know how many people watched the entire video. I want to know when people submitted a form, right? I want to track if people came to my website, clicked on a download link, downloaded a PDF document. I want to know if people clicked on some important buttons of my site, or I want to track other elements. If you have to learn about events, you can categorize these events into two parts. One is an event that will generate a page view, the other is an event that will not generate a page view. Now, example, there would be some Ajax elements on the site. For example, if you go to certain websites, what will happen is there would be certain buttons. Give me one moment, I'll open my site, I'll show you. So meanwhile that load, let's come here. So events are those things that are very important for a marketer to track, because they're going to give you great insights about the user interactions on your site, how people engage with your website, and the important actions that people do on the site. Of course, we track conversions, but remember, whoever comes to my site, or how many ever people come to my site, not all those people end up converting, but there might be certain set of people who might do some important actions or important interactions. So it is our responsibility to keep a track of all these things, in fact to track them all, and you would do that by using event tracking. Now, just for a moment, if you come to my site, this is makemarket.com. I want to know, Prashant, how many people clicked on this phone number. Now, this phone number here, it's just that number. If people go to my website on mobile device and click on this number, it will take them to dial pad. So I wanted to track how many people eventually clicked on this phone number. Now, if you click on this button, you see, if you click on this button, the URL is not changed, but the content changed, right? I want to know how many people clicked on this button. So this is a sandwich button. I want to know how many people clicked on the button, right? Now, if you even scroll down, you see, when you come to my site, right? You see there are certain things. What if I click on this? The URL did not change, but a click happened. So what happened when I click on this? The content changed, but the URL did not change. So if you want to keep a track of all these user interactions, which does not result in a page view, you can track them all using events. And if you go back to analytics, if you're tracking these events, you come to behavior. In the behavior, you have a small option called events, and in this events, you'll find all the data that is collected from your website in the form of events. So when you come to events, again, you have four options here. The first one is overview. We will discuss about each of them in detail. Now, then you have top events. pages and the events flow, right? So this is going to be an extensive video where I will be talking about how to analyze these reports and what kind of events that you can send from website. Like I told you, anything that you want to track which will add monetary value to your business, or in a way that will give you insights where you can go back and improve your marketing campaigns, you got to track them, right? In analytics, there's also something called conversions. Now if you go to conversions here, which is goals, when I go to goals here in the view settings, there are generally four kind of goals that you can track. The first one is an page view or destination. Second one is an session duration. Third one is pages per session, and the fourth one is an event. So generally people go with custom. If I click on here, now you see four type of. So that means there are certain things that you can track as events, and those events can be counted as a goal as well. But remember, not every event is a goal, but certain events you can configure as a goal. So which one is more important? Of course, goal is the most important part, right? People ask me a lot of questions. What's the difference between event and goal? Anyways, I'm capturing a goal. See, not everything that a user does on your website is a goal, but you have to track those important actions. But what you can do is some important actions that you think will add monetary value to your business or economic value to your business, right? You can count them as goals. So you come here, you set up a goal, and here you set an event, and when you click an event, it will ask you to give the event conditions. That means every event that you create in analytics, right, every event that you send into analytics, you have to have three things, right? We will discuss about each of those things in a while. For that, let's jump to Google Tag Manager. So for a moment, let's come to Google Tag Manager. What I can do is, see, I can track these events on my website and send them to analytics in two ways. One is manually edit the code, which I would not recommend you, because Google Tag Manager kind of replaces the entire manually coding work. You don't have to take the help of a developer. Rather, you can do it yourself. All you have to do is just migrate all your tags from hard coded way into Tag Manager and deploy all those tags using Tag Manager. Now if I come here, I select a tag. Here I select a tag called Google Analytics. Now Google Analytics, it'll ask me what's the track type, so I select event. Now whenever you want to send something as an event into analytics, right, you send three things. First one is the category, second one is the action, third one is the label. Now if you talk about category is nothing but, for example, Prashant, I want to track how many people scroll 25%, scroll 50%, scroll 75%, right? So these are all events of a similar type or similar theme. So what I'll do is I'll track all of those actions which have a similar theme with the category. So for example, if I want to capture scroll, so I will put here something called scroll. The scroll is the category, and here I will give the action. The action here is 25%, or if it is 50%, I'll put 50%, right? So what I'm doing is I'm tracking these actions, that when people scroll 25%, I want to send an event category as scroll, event action as 25%. When people scroll 50%, I want to send the action as 50%, and the category will still be scrolled. Now if you want to add more meaning to this event data, you can add a label, and you can even add a value. Now if you're somebody experienced and if you work on e-commerce campaigns, remember, if you have to implement enhanced e-commerce tracking, Google also gives you certain instructions that you can send the entire e-commerce data that Google needs in the form of objects through events, right? So you can put that entire e-commerce data into a data layer object, and you can send them in the form of an event, right? So that is a video for another date, but however, if you want to read more about that, you can go through my e-commerce analytics playlist in Make Marketer. You'll clearly understand what I'm really talking about, right? Meanwhile guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. We've created amazing videos. The kind of watch time we have, but it's so high considering the number of views. It's so high. People completely watch the video. People kind of watch more than 50% of my videos, all of them, but people forget to subscribe. I appreciate if you can really subscribe, because we're not going to put any normal content. It's something that will definitely add value and great value to you, right? If you're already experienced. If you're fresher, maybe you can watch my introductory videos. That will give you a real heads up or an initial cue to really understand what digital marketing is all about, right? So remember guys, event has three parts. The first one is category, action. Category, you can track anything, but if you want to group all those actions which kind of have the same theme, you can put a category. And action is how do you differentiate each action. You can put it in the action place, and if you want to add more meaning to it, you can put value. If it is adding some monetary value to your business, maybe you can add a value here. But remember, if you're using event goal conversions, for example, Prashant, when people scroll 100% of my site homepage, I want to count it as a goal, right? So I select as an event. But when you come here, it is asking me, hey Prashant, do you want to count the event value as a goal value? Generally it is not advised. If it's an e-commerce site, you don't do this. You implement enhanced e-commerce tracking, and that would be the right way to do it, right? But there are, for example, I want to track conversions when people go to thank you page. That's a proper screen load, that's a proper page load, right? So you don't have to use the event. But if you want to track people when they click on a download button, they download the PDF document, so maybe you can track that, and you can even count that as a conversion. But that will not add any monetary value, because just because people download a PDF doesn't mean they paid you amount, right? So I would appreciate, that purely depends on case to case. So if it is applicable to your business, maybe you can use it. But I would definitely recommend you not to use this. If you have e-commerce site, go implement enhanced e-commerce tracking, or implement a proper conversion or goal tracking. All right. So I will cancel this. I'll come back. Right. So events, where do you find? I'm not teaching you in this video how to set up an event. If you want to know more about how to set up an event and pass those events into analytics, you have to learn about Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager is that platform which kind of makes it very easy for anybody who doesn't have any coding knowledge even to send any kind of interactions or any kind of action that people make on the site into Google Analytics. You can create a tag and give the tag type as event, and every event you have to send these four important information. Now I also want to emphasize one thing. These interactions, when they are sent into analytics, you can send them in the form of non-interactive hit or interactive hit, true or false, right? So when you put non-interaction is true, this information will go into analytics in the form of an event. But because it's a non-interaction hit, this will not be considered into bounce rate calculations. That means if I am sending a hit when people scroll 25% of my site, imagine when people come to my site and they scroll 25% of my web page, an event is passed. Now imagine an event is passed. This event is going into analytics as an event. In analytics, you'll find that an event has been captured, a person initiated or triggered certain interaction, right? That is captured as an event. But this event will not affect the bounce rate calculations. Why? Because when I was sending that event, I said non-interaction hit is true. But if I put non-interaction hit as false, that hit which is sent into analytics when people scroll 25% will also affect the bounce rate calculation. That means when people come to my site, scroll 25% and go away from my site, it will not be considered as a bounce, because people interacted with my site, and that interaction, which is an event, was classified as a interaction hit. And how do you define as an interaction hit? By simply coming here and giving the non-interaction hit as false. When you give non-interaction hit as false, it means it's a proper interaction hit. And any proper interaction hit that is sent into analytics, and analytics records that, it will not be it will be counted into bounce rate calculations, right? So a lot of people have confusion here. So in this video, I'm not teaching about how to create an event, but I want to talk about the events and where do you find. So I hope that you at least understand events are very important. It will give you a lot of data. You can track that actions that people do on your site which are adding monetary value to your business, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Google demo account. Let's go and check what all events they are capturing in their demo store account. So join me as I take you through, and I come to behavior. Remember, it's in behavior because that's got something to do with people doing something with my site, right? So you come to overview. Now when you come to overview here, you'll find all the events. Now total events in last how many days? Last 1 week, this many events were triggered. That means you can see, again, you can keep incrementing the count. You can literally track anything. You can make this number 1 lakh also. How do you do that? You go and track whatever people do on the site. For example, I want to track when people scroll 1%, 2%, 3%. That means I can really inflate the data, but only track those things which are important for your business, which are meaningful to business. Just because you want to track every little thing, don't keep tracking everything that people do, right? Total, these many events were triggered. These many events were triggered from the site, and they were captured 13,384. And unique events. See, unique events means, for example, if I am tracking something called a scroll depth, right? So when people come to my site, right, and do that action twice. For example, if I'm tracking this button, you see, if I track this button clicks as an event, if I track this button click as an event. Or when people come and click on this button twice, it will be counted as 2 events, right? Because 2 times he interacted. But when it comes to unique events, it will only be considered once. That means Google counts events which have the same category, same name, right, as one when they are done or initiated multiple times in the same session. That means distinct sessions, or sessions where events are distinct, right? So that's when you kind of give it as unique. Unique means if you do that action 3 4 times, Google will count all of them into total events, but Google will only count them once per session, and that is called unique events. Event value, now see, I told you not to give that value, and Google is not doing that. And then sessions, so these were the number of sessions where there were events. So this way you can see the total number of events and total number of sessions and the total number of sessions with events. When you subtract both of them, you will get sessions where there were no events. That means people did not interact. And the common action that you want to track, or event that you want to track, is scroll depth. That will at least help you understand that people come to my site, they scroll 25% or 50%. So if you have too many events for 25 and too less events for 50, you understand that somehow people don't scroll from 25 to 50 and they drop off. And there's a particular report to event track. Prashant, people come till 25%, but people don't scroll till 50% most often. So there's a report which particularly tells you how to track this, so you can go and make changes to the site. So that will kind of give that seamless experience to people, and people scroll down continuously, right? And events and sessions with event, right? Now if you come to top events, here, these are the top events: enhanced e-commerce, the total events, and unique events are these many, right? Now top events, that means if you're capturing too many events, so this report will help you understand what are the top events that people have triggered, or people interacted with the elements of the site that you were tracked as events, right? Now event category, then event action. So if I click on this enhanced e-commerce, these are the event actions, right? Click view, click, and then product click, add to cart, remove from cart. And if you're somebody experienced and into e-commerce, you understand how to implement enhanced e-commerce tracking. Google gave a lot of measurement objects that you must be implementing, and putting all that data into a data layer and send them in the form of events, so Google can read that data and give you reports. But if you really want to understand e-commerce analytics, you have to understand what objects create what metrics and what dimensions. That's a video for another time. That's again a very very big video. I don't think I can fit everything into that video. So yeah, if you're really interested in learning this stuff, maybe you can join our bootcamp, Digital Marketing Bootcamp, India's first most high-end digital marketing program. And yeah, it is something that is better than people with 10 years of experience, right? So action, right? So you come to pages. Here you will find the pages on which the actions, the events were triggered. Most of the events were triggered. Now 13,000 events were happened, out of which 2,647 appeared on the store page, right? Now you can even add a secondary dimension. So let's go and say event action. So I will add a secondary dimension called event action. So on the store, I want to click with this was the action that happened most often on this particular page. If you want to know the category and other value as well, maybe you can go create a custom report, right? And custom report again is a beautiful thing. You can put any dimensions, any metric, and you can get a clear insight as to how 2 or 3 metrics, or 2 or 3 metrics and 2 dimensions work together. Now I was telling you, right, events flow. When people come to my site, scroll 25% and doesn't scroll 50%, so that way you can see. Now you see here, here what I can do is, rather than choosing e-commerce, maybe I can choose e-com action. This is the level of detail where I can go and make the data more clearer, so it's easy for me to understand. You see, United States, so this is the dimension, the country. So most of the traffic is coming from United States, and here you see the event category is enhanced e-commerce, right? More than 100 events. And then the second event was contact us. The event category was contact us, right? So if I kind of make it category and action, now this will tell me, you see this category is enhanced e-commerce and action was quick view. The second action was enhanced e-commerce category, again the action is product click. After product click, you see again quick view click, and then the fourth one is product click. right? So what I have done in my site is I kind of understand how much of content people scroll. So it is easy for me to go back and analyze if people scroll to 50% and then don't scroll 75%, that means something wrong with 50 and 20 75. So that gives me ideas to go put some content that will drive people even further down the page, right? So yeah, you can apply this events on certain set of audiences. So you can create a segment and you can put this data all together into the into the sheet here, into the GUI, and then you can get some right insights that will help you analyze how people behave on the site. See, this is very, very important. It just because you put analytics tracking code on the site, don't think it is going to give you everything. It's going to give you most of the information that people say you don't have to really use custom implementations or implement custom stuff, right? But remember, people come to your site, do some other stuff which is not tracked. So it's responsible to track them, and the only way to track them is events, right? So if you want to know how to track events like scroll depth and button click, you can watch the I button at the top. There I have put the entire video, so you can continue watching those videos. So that will be kind of sequence, so you can relate to what I'm saying. So this video is particularly focused about understanding these reports, so you can understand the overview report, top events report, pages, and events. And what can be captured as events? A button click, a scroll depth, or a video view, or a download, or people viewing an Ajax button, for example. You see, I told you, right, when people click on this, when URL is not getting changed but the content is changed, right? So anything that you think will add monetary value, or anything that you think, yes, you can go back into analytics and maybe you can create an audience of them and then run remarketing campaigns. I'll show you this one stuff as well. So if I come to, so I don't think it is available here, so I go to another account. So let me go to my other account. Now you come to audiences here. In the audience definition, you create audiences. In the audiences, you can even create audiences of those people who did certain actions on my site. Now remember, we are tracking certain things. For example, when people scroll 100% of my homepage, I'm tracking it as an event. So here what I can do is I can create an audience, and I could conditions, and here I can put event category. So I know the category was scroll depth. Generally you'll find a drop down here, but I'm using another account, and I say event action is 25% or 100%, right? So what happens is I'll create an audience only those people who triggered this event category called scroll depth and have the action of 100%. And so what I can do, I can create an audience of these people and push this audience into Google Ads and then do remarketing, because these people were people who were engaging with my site so much, and I think they're very, very close to conversion. And it's good that I remarket them with the right offer, telling them the importance, or give them the offer which will kind of push them or give that trigger, right, to convert, right? Again, not target these people, because some of these people might have already converted. So it's good that you have another bucket called conversions and you exclude that bucket from this particular bucket. So you kind of show ads to people who scroll 100% of my homepage, who were very, very engaging but did not convert. So this way, this will even improve your conversions, right? So remember guys, you have to track the actions that people do on your site, which you think are very important, which will help you improve your conversions, which will help improve your revenue, right? So if you come to my site, remember I've written one point here: measurement is the heart of all marketing, right? You got to measure them, right? And the best way to measure these actions is by capturing them and sending them into analytics in the form of an event, right? So practice these things, and if you don't know, right, you can watch my other videos. And if you really want to learn these high-end amazing stuff that you can become a marketer better than 10 years of experienced people, then you can check our bootcamp, India's first digital marketing bootcamp, the most high-end digital marketing program in the country. I don't think people with less than 10 years of experience can even fathom what we're trying to teach. It's for people who are very serious. It's for people who are problem solvers. And again, we're very selective. It's not for everybody.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Continue to watch the other videos in my playlist. They're quite in-depth, and it's practically for people who have years of experience in digital marketing. So if you're somebody who are a digital marketer, you want to go beyond the normal subject that is otherwise taught in institutes, you can subscribe to our channel. You can definitely check the quality that we've put on YouTube. I don't think there's any other YouTube channel in the country who would teach you so much of content when it comes to Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. And also, And if you like the video, please do share it with your friends. They might really like it, and they might, take their Google Analytics measurement and implementation to the another level. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also click on the notification icon below so that you would be notified every time we post a new video on our channel. Thank you so much, and I would see you with the next video.